morning, everybody. Today is Monday, October 11th, and Rick Patterson, Bruce Strisky, Greg Yett, Boris Cheek, Brad Allen, Danny Short, and Daniel Gallagher. I'm coming for your ass. Better watch out. What's up, Tom?
Not much, man. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm over it. Overall, it was just a bad weekend. It was really bad. Just a lot. I don't even think I can feel like emotions anymore because I just did emotions all weekend. So also ESPN, at some point you should probably stop like putting who referees these games in what the score is like in the game cast, because now I'm going to search that guy. I'm going to find his house, and yeah. So well, there's a lot to talk about today. I mean, yesterday was, it's crazy football. Lots of things to talk about. The Jets lost, the Browns lost, college football, everyone lost. So it was a bad day. All right. Well, we usually just kind of get into the football game. But I guess first, how did you do in fantasy this week, Tom?
Not the worst week that I've ever had. Not the best week. My TAV league, I played the only 4-0 team and was supposed to win at one point. But then Austin Eckler decided to show up. And that basically ruined my chances. So I need about 30 points out of Jonathan Taylor tonight versus the Ravens. I won in our Dynasty League. I won in my dad's league. I got my shit rocked in my other keeper league. And then that leaves our Dynasty team for Fleury.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to win. Got to hold off 22 points from Hollywood Brown, which we're not calling him Hollywood anymore because he doesn't deserve that because he can't catch footballs. We're just going to call him Marquise. But yeah, no, I think it's looking like I'm going to go 4-0 this weekend with all four of my teams, which is a very stark contrast from what is happening in real life. So that's it's always fun. I mean, I'm dominating our Pirate League right now, the game, and this was by far Kyler Murray's worst game. Like, I may not be able to be beat. Like, I'm being serious. Like, I survived Kyler scoring only 11 points. I don't know if anyone can beat me in the Pirate League. I know next week, I'm going to be undefeated. Jake, the guy we had on our Sunday morning to do the bets, his brother is also in the Pirate League, and he was 4-0. I haven't checked his score, but it could be the battle of the undefeateds next week. And all I got to say about that is, Kyler, you probably are going to want to show up for that one. Going to need you.
Yeah. But Kyler screwed me in my one league too, where I was going up against the only 4-0. I had a shot, but Kyler put up half of his projected points, and that really screwed me, along with Eckler nearly doubling his. So I feel pain.
Yeah. I mean, you keep saying you feel pain. You don't know pain. You don't know pain. You don't know pain that happened on Saturday. You don't know the pain that happened yesterday. I'm not kidding when I say that I am going to reach out to these referees and ask them if I can interview them, and then I'm just going to embarrass them in front of everybody. I mean, we could just get into it right now before we get into the games. I need an explanation why these refs, when they make a bad call, every job in the entire world, if you fuck up at your job, you are like, you get warned or you get whatever, you get a written warning, then you get suspended. This crew that just, I mean, it was a horribly called game. I mean, the one pass interference was, I mean, Mike, it was offensive pass interference, if anything. And so that was terrible. And then this has been happening all year to basically every team. If you throw a Hail Mary at the end of the game, all the defense does is just tackle all your receivers, and they won't throw a flag because it's like, it's almost like in basketball where you drive to the hoop, like the ref doesn't want to call the foul on the layup or whatever. But like, it's gotten to a point where, like, obviously I don't want computers to do every call, But I really do think that a lot of these referees have their own agendas, and I think it's incredible the stark contrast between referees and the crews of what's a roughing the passer, what's defensive pass interference, what's holding, what's illegal touching. Like, none of it is clear. And then they bring on that fucking idiot Gene Steratore, and I've like, he is so stupid, it blows my mind. And the other thing that I cannot stand from, and this is from the color commentary and this is from the booth, they refuse to criticize the referees. They refuse to do it. And it's mind-blowing. And the Browns, Kevin Stefanski had his worst game yesterday as a head coach by far. He didn't trust Baker at all. But, I'm not entirely blaming the refs. But they changed the outcome of the game because of the calls they made. And I just don't understand why they get paid to do this. This is their job. And you will see referees mess up again and again and again and again and again and again, and they still get to come back every weekend to do the same thing. It's the same thing in college football. I mean, there has to be some kind of judgment on them at the end of the year. Like, you should have a film review where if we look back on your film from this past year and you made basically a missed call, like a terrible missed call, like 10 or 15 times, like, hey man, we're not going to hire you back next year. So it just blows my mind, the stupidity and the ignorance that the NFL shows about these referees. And it is an NFL problem. It's an NFL problem. They brought in the substitute referees, what was it, 10, 12 years ago? And that was horrible. I mean, those guys, they were horrible. But so now the NFL is so scared to criticize or do anything to these refs because that might happen again. Like I said, I don't want it to go to a whole computer AI or anything like that. It's going to have to go there at some point. The amount of missed calls and just failures every single week, it's coming to a point where they really need to do something about it. Obviously I'm mad about the Browns game, but it happens league wide and it doesn't stop. They fail every single week. So I just don't understand why they don't hey bro, you missed this PI call. This is the third time this year you've missed this PI call. You're suspended for 2 games without pay. And I just don't get it. It's unbelievable to me that these refs can even live with themselves. Like I said, the Browns lost the game. And the refs probably didn't play a huge factor in it, but they played a minor factor in it. It just blows my mind that they will receive no criticism. And at best, what you're going to get is the stupid bullshit NFL apology today. Oh, we didn't call that pass interference. I'm sorry about it. And it's you guys do this every week. Roger Goodell, you come out and do this every week. Do something else about the problem. It's not mind-blowing. And I'm not even going to get into college referees because those guys are so fucking stupid. I don't think they could graduate to the college that they are refereing. They are so bad. These refs are they're untouchable. And it's going to come to a point where I'm a crazy fan. There are a lot of crazy fans out there, but we know where, me and you and other people, we know where to cut it off. There's going to be a crazy New England fan one time or a crazy Raiders fan that is going to straight up attack a referee. And I'm not going to see the tweet of the ref game being up. I'm not going to be oh, this is good. But in my head, I'm going to be this is your own fault, NFL. This was always going to happen. They continue to fail and fail and fail every single year. And at some point, it just has to stop because they fail so much. I don't know if you have anything else about that. I just don't understand how they escape punishment, how they escape any criticism. If you think about it, these refs could be throwing games because the NFL doesn't look into any of it. They don't do anything about it. So
I would almost even say the NFL isn't on it because the NFL almost wants to have a script of what's going on. I mean, you and I both watched that Chiefs game last night. The NFL and the referees, the NFL and the referees were doing anything to avoid the Chiefs getting blown out. I am convinced because just like that Browns game, all of the calls seem to just be absolute garbage. Like you're right. It blows my mind that so many questionable calls and incorrect calls can be made in one weekend. If this were just sprinkled through and it's like, oh, we got 2 or 3 bad calls a week, that's fine. But like, it just seems that there are 2 or 3 games that are poorly officiated, and these are supposed to be the best refs and that see everything.
Yeah, and like I guess I don't know what like the off season is for them. Like I don't know if they have other jobs, do whatever. But like they need to get into it. Like maybe they should get into an off-season program like training camp or something like that. Because every year they come out and the first week you already know that the new rules they're going to be enforced, they're going to be not enforced. I mean, pass interference. It's just, it's becoming a joke. It's becoming a joke. I mean, Herbert did it, I think, 3 times yesterday where he was either going to throw it away or get sacked, but he was smart. And I give him credit for this. He just basically threw the ball, like basically kind of out of bounds, but where a receiver could have had the ball. And all a receiver has to do basically is just pretend like you got hit or pretend like you got like your arm grabbed or something, and they're not going to call it. The Hail Mary, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Baker criticized them after the game, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing that they like players and coaches can't come out and criticize these guys. Like, what has made these referees untouchable? Like, why? Like, why? Why are they untouchable? And then Roger Goodell, if you're so like worried about their safety and like their morale or whatever, then go to robots because I'd rather have that. Like, I'd rather have that. Like these guys, it is consistent game in, game out, week in, week out. They fail at their own jobs and they escape punishment. And it's a joke. It's a joke. Roger Goodell, the owners obviously love him because he makes them a shit, but he is a failure. He is a failure. If you look at his tenure as the NFL commissioner, there have been way more problems in these last 20 years with him in charge than there was in the previous 80 years of the NFL football. So I'm not going to dwell on it. And like I said, I really don't want to get into college referees because I honestly think those guys have absolutely no idea what they're doing. But the last thing I'll say about that is like, I put out a tweet last night and I honestly think it's what happens. I think these guys go back. I do think the NFL probably makes them like rewatch some things or like they'll send them a video like maybe like this was a bad call or something. But like they go home, they don't get criticized. Nothing is ever wrong. They're never wrong. The way it's going and the way that fans are crazy and players are crazy and how crazy football is, like I said, there's going to be a fan that attacks a referee. And honestly, I could also see a player attacking a referee. Like if I'm a player in the NFL and like I get fined for, I don't know, like not like an unfortunate helmet-to-helmet contact or something, and they fine me, or like I get fined for a taunting penalty or something like that. And then you're that player, but then you look at the referee that's in the same game as you that did basically the same thing. He failed at his job, but nothing happens to him. So I don't know what they have to do. And like, obviously this is based around the Browns for me, but around the league, I think it's pretty clear that those guys, Twitter from 1 to 7 p.m. on Sundays is obviously a lot of football stuff, but I would say there's a good 25 to 30% of it is people complaining about the referees. And I used to be like, you know what, we can't blame them that much. Everyone has a bad day. No, nobody has this many bad days. If you have this many bad days, you're just the devil. Like, so it's mind blowing. It's week in and week out, and they don't do anything about it. So what I mean, I obviously am not condoning someone to attack a referee, but when it happens, I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not. I'm just straight up going to say it. I'm not going to feel bad for that dude. If he dies, I will, obviously. But if he gets beat up, I'm not going to feel bad. I'm not. The guy has this, like, if you're a veteran NFL referee, like, imagine being like, remember Ed Hockley? And I mean, obviously he made bad calls at points, but like Ed Hockley was a pretty well-known referee. He was the Jack dude. He's like, so basically he was an NFL referee for like 30 years. So basically the last 10 years, he was like tenured in probably. And he obviously the guy, Hockley was okay. So I'm not going to complain about him, but other referees, I'm sure like the last 10 years, they're like, I'm untouchable. I did my first 20 years. They can't touch me. Doesn't matter how many bad calls I make. They can't touch me. So, anything else about that?
No, I'm just going to let it stand there. Yeah.
All right. I took a drink. Time for rant number 2. Greg Berhalter, what are you doing? The U.S. played last night at 6, so I was clearly going. I actually had on my laptop on, and I was watching the game. They won last week. They beat Jamaica at home at Austin, Texas. It was great. The lineup was great. And the thing that does suck about this, like how the World Cup is playing out right now, is basically every international break. To explain to people who don't know soccer, all these guys play for their club teams, but obviously they have to go on international duty. So like there'll be a week without soccer games at the club level, or 2 weeks without soccer games at the club level, and the players go on international duty. But the thing that sucks now is with this how condensed it is. The whole qualifying everything is they played Thursday, they played yesterday, and then they played Wednesday. So they have to play 3 games every international break. They won last week. Their lineup was great. Ricardo Pepi, the next prodigy, the striker, he was awesome. And then we come into Sunday and we play Panama, who's one of the better teams in the CONCACAF, and he changes everything. There were only 2 players who stayed in the starting lineup from Thursday to last night, and I mean they lost. They lost 1-0 at Panama. It's embarrassing. Greg Berhalter just every time he takes a step forward, it seems every time he takes a step forward, he just takes 2 steps back. I am once again. Usually after the last international break, I would have said yes. I guarantee we're going to qualify for the World Cup. I don't know now. I honestly don't know. It also doesn't help that our guys are injured. Gio Reyna, he's not injured, I don't think, but I have no idea where he is. Christian Pulisic is injured. There is a chance that Christian Pulisic, and we'll obviously talk about Saquon more, but there's a chance that Christian Pulisic is Saquon Barkley. I'm not kidding. Where the fact is he was going to be so good, and then unfortunate things happened to him, and his injuries took down his career. It wouldn't surprise me that happens to Christian Pulisic. Every time he is hurt constantly, it's unbelievable. But like I said, Greg Berhalter's wholesale lineup changes. Dude, these are important games. You got to win these games. There's no reason we shouldn't have gone down to Panama and at least got a tie. There's absolutely no explanation of why we couldn't do that. I kind of say that as a joke. There is no explanation why you can't go to Panama and get one point. I was more mad about that last night. But after I got really mad at the refs for about 10 minutes, that wasn't as mad. So I'm good. I'm happy about that. Anything, Tom? I'm going to close my door. Hold on.
Okay. No, I mean, I don't really follow soccer, and I think people sort of know that.
Yeah, I know. The only thing that sucks is, obviously the World Cup's going to be weird next year because it is in the fall. It's going to – I'm basically going to lock myself in a room for about a month, just football and soccer every day. It's going to be great. But you'll even admit you don't follow soccer, but if the U.S. plays in the World Cup, you'll probably end up watching the game, right? Oh, we lost you.
Yeah, the only The only soccer that I watch is the World Cup, if anything.
Yeah, so I mean, it's more fun when the Americans are involved. But yeah, no, I mean, everyone watches the World Cup. But yeah, I mean, all right. Well, those two rants are out. Okay, Clemson won this weekend. I can't rant about Dabo. I think I'm ranted out. So let's get into the games. We'll obviously start. We'll leave R2s for the last, which actually no, my game was before yesterday. Doesn't matter. We'll leave R2 for the last, and then we'll just work our way back. So let's get into what was a very, very long but somewhat still entertaining Sunday night game last night between the Chiefs and the Bills. I'll kind of lend the floor to you. Josh Allen might be for real. Josh Allen
is a top 5, top 3 quarterback.
I'm going to say this, and people are going to be crazy, and they're going to call me an idiot. Right now, if I had to pick who I'm starting a team with, I'm taking Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes right now. Josh Allen just seems he's hard nosed, but so he was great yesterday. Where did Dawson Knox come from? I mean, the one catch he had on the sideline after the game came back after halftime, that was incredible. I don't like the Bills because I like the Bills.
Got him going again.
What?
I said that catch got him going again. They were struggling in the team to stay and everything. After that, everyone got pumped up again, got back into game mode.
Yeah. So, I mean, they were good. I don't think there's a ton to say about the Bills, except they look like the Bills last night that we thought the Bills would be coming into the season, like a very, very very, very good actual Super Bowl contender, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think the bigger part of this is what's going on in Kansas City. What's going on with Kansas City?
I really don't know. I sent you a meme last night, which I thought was hilarious, but I think that you know what it really is. And I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to really get into it because it came out of its mouth, and I really don't like a lot that comes out of Chris Collinsworth's mouth. But I think that we are starting to see a formula for how to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The Bills and the Raiders. Who was it that beat the Chiefs? It wasn't the Raiders. I was thinking the Raiders of last year beat
Chargers.
them. The Chargers.
Chargers.
We're starting to see a formula. It's drop 2 safeties high in the back that basically double team Tyreek Hill and take him out of the game. Put someone on Travis Kelce right off the line and beat him up a little bit. Give up a couple penalties. And then just get pressure on Mahomes. Those 3 things make it so that the Chiefs cannot play offense.
I 100%. Well, there are 2 things that I think people looked past when the Chiefs were really good these last 2 years. One, their running game, since they had Kareem Hunt, at least their running game hasn't been that good. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I mean, he just fumbles every play. I do feel bad. He looks like he's hurt pretty bad. I know I saw him walk off. But I think the bigger glaring thing that people, I don't know why people just chose to overlook it with the Chiefs in the past. Their defense is just straight up not good. They don't play good, sound defense. Tyrann Mathieu is probably the only one on that defense that's worth anything, I think, because Chris Jones as well. But their defense is bad. If the Chiefs get into a game where they can't outscore somebody, they have no chance to win because their defense isn't going to stop anybody.
100%. And the fact that Andy Reid is not seeing that people have found a formula to stop him is a bit concerning to me. And I know that he's a great coach. I'm not trying to say he's not, but if he can't see that people are starting to figure out an offense and adapt and get his players to adapt, that's very concerning for the Chiefs because their entire organization is then screwed if these three guys are the only three guys that can do anything. If anything, Mahomes, yes, he's still getting pressured, but if they're taking Tyreek Hill out of the game and they're doubling him with the two high safeties, you need Cole Hardman involved because he's essentially Tyreek Hill light.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw Josh Gordon catch a pass last night. Get him more involved too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't say it's necessarily Mahomes' fault, but I think it's like for him, it's kind of probably hard to like train his mind away from throwing to either Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. Like that's the other thing. I mean, their offense has never really had any kind of balance. They don't have a balanced offense. Like and it's not even a balanced passing offense. It's three guys. It's Mahomes, Kelce, and Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's like those three guys, and those guys are very, very, very good. But when you have a game plan and 11 players that stick to that game plan on defense, you have no chance if you think your offense is going to do anything with just three guys. So I think, yeah, I mean, Andy Reid shouldn't be on the hot seat, but I do think there are questions that need to be asked about him. Like he has made, like they lost in the Super Bowl last year. They've come out and looked like the exact same team they did the last 2 years, which, I mean, I think a lot of people think that's good, but I mean, it's not. They didn't win a Super Bowl last year. They got to the Super Bowl, but they didn't win it. So, it's just, it's weird. And they got to play the Chargers again this year. I mean, they got to play, who's else in the AFC West? They got to play
the Denver Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers, you said.
Oh, well, wow, that's a very easy division then. Well, that stinks other than the Chargers. But, yeah, I mean, like the Chiefs are always going to – I mean, the Chiefs are always going to blow out the bad teams. They're going to blow them out. It's just what they do. They're going to blow out the bad teams. But, I mean, these first couple of games, they haven't looked the same. And, they just haven't looked the same. If you don't have anything else, I have one other thing to say about this game. I don't know if you saw it. Anything else?
No, I'm pretty sure we covered everything. And also, Josh Allen is a stud. That's the last thing I'll say. That's really the only thing you have to say about the Bills is that Josh Allen's a stud.
I agree. Unfortunately, I agree. But also, he needs to be like he was smart last night. I gave him a ton of credit last night. He was smart. He didn't take any hits. He was getting out of bounds or sliding for the most part. But at some point in his, like maybe the next 2 to 3 years, he's going to get dinged up trying to run over people. And that's a thing. I mean, he'll probably have to sit for like 2 games or something. But I'll take that from Josh Allen as long as you're still winning.
Right. It's not like he's a smaller guy who's scrambled around like Kyler.
Yeah.
He's a big guy that's going to be able to take some hits, kind of like how Cam Newton did, but he is going to end up getting hit a lot like Cam Newton did, where he's going to have to stay to more of a pocket passer, but he actually has the arm to succeed in doing so. Yeah, so I understand and I hear what you're saying with that. That hurdle last night, though, was filthy. Yeah.
I mean, he's really good. He is really good. I do have to say, the announcers, like when they do Josh Allen, like I get it, guys. He didn't have any D1 offers and he went to Wyoming. Like I get it. You don't need to shove it down my throat every time I watch Josh Allen. Like, yes, clearly all the head coaches in college football missed him, but we've known about this now for 3 years, guys. We've known about it. You don't need to bring it up every Sunday. So I'll get into the other thing. I'll get into the other thing I was going to talk about, which is I think we've actually talked about this. Mahomes' wife just needs to shut the fuck up. Did you see it on Twitter last night?
No, I didn't.
But
I'm sure it was awful.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean,
Here, let me look up.
There's an article on Yahoo about it. She just Mahomes. I like him. He seems like a great guy. I think he married the wrong chick and has the wrong brother because they do nothing good for him. I'm not kidding. Like every time there's news about Brittany, whatever her name is, and then his younger brother, it's always just horrible. Like it's always, I'm sure Patrick like just is like, all right, whatever. Like, yeah. But he goes to his room and he's like, why don't you guys just let me play football and shut up? But yeah, no. So she needs to get a grip. Yeah, she needs to get a grip. I mean, none of the tweets were bad, but like she wouldn't shut up about it. It was like me tweeting, but I'm not the wife of an NFL player, so I can do that. Like, so I don't know.
What's her last name? Matthews?
Yeah, it's Matthews.
Let's take a look. Oh boy.
Yeah, she like I said, it's like me tweeting. It's what I do every weekend, but then again, I'm not the wife of an NFL player. So it's a little bit different. And like I said, she always finds her way to force herself in the conversation. And it's like, no, Brittany, we just want to watch your husband play football. We don't care about you. We want to watch your husband throw the ball 80 yards down the field. That's what we want to watch. We don't want to watch you and your child or anything in your little brother-in-law. Like, we don't care. Like, we don't. We just want to watch Patrick Mahomes throw the ball 80 yards on the field. Like I said, none of it was bad. It's just she just, once again, it's like the referee.
It's so stupid. Like, someone's tweeting at her, like, I need you to stop. This was my team long before Patrick was here. All this other stuff. Like, it's a fan, a long-time Chiefs fan who's rooting for her husband and said one thing, like, the Chiefs are bigger than you, me, or any one player. And then Matthews, his fiance or whatever, said, in the nicest way possible, shut up, with the emoji with the smiley face. Like, it's not bad. It's just like, what the hell? Shut up is really
what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure Mahomes goes home and he like sits in his room and he's like, why do you guys do this to me? Like, I'm actually just really, really good at football. And if you guys would just shut up, you guys would stay out of the news and we might win more Super Bowls and I might bring in more money. So I'm sure he just
already more money than his $500 million plus endorsements.
Yeah. So working our way backwards, Dallas versus the Giants.
America's game of the week, my ass.
Yeah, that was game of the week.
Yeah, it always is. Every time it's the 425, and anytime the Giants and Cowboys play, it's always the game of the week.
So
because of the rivalry.
I'm going to say something about the Giants real quick. Well, two things about the Giants. Injuries to three of their three best players, probably. I mean, that screwed them. I think Saquon Barkley seriously needs to look at like retirement. I feel bad. He can't stay healthy. Like, did you see how he hurt his ankle yesterday?
Yeah, he was a non-contact. Like, he literally was just walking one way and the guy walked the other way, stepped on his foot.
Like it's that kind of thing that happens where I'm just like, okay, this dude is bound to get injured. So like, I don't know if retirement, I guess, is the. I don't know. He needs
a new team.
He needs
to change his scenery.
Yeah, he just needs to start over somewhere because like Giants, like it's done. Like it's just done, and I feel bad, and I hope he does have a decent career. But I mean, the only time we've seen Saquon, like he can take, like this is more of just a thing, but like, I'm kind of comparing it to Madden a little bit, but not really. Like every year he comes out and like he's a superstar. And Madden, you get to play with him, but in real life you don't, because we've seen one season from him, basically one season. So I
one season 3 years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, it just once again shows why there will never, ever again be a running back drafted in the top 5. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I feel bad. I do feel bad. The Cowboys are good, I think, but it's going to get bad because Cowboy fans are going to get bad. I've already been seeing it on Twitter. Like, I don't know. What do you? I think the Cowboys are good. I think they're a real threat. But like, I just can't deal with Cowboy fans. They're going to be the next New England fans.
The Cowboy fans have always been, in my mind and in my eyes at least, on that level with New England fans. They're honestly the worst because they will sit and scream about how great they are. And first couple weeks of the season, because the Cowboys and the Raiders have a very similar a similar way things shake out. I'll put it. They always look great at the start of the season, then finish 8-8, 8-9, 9-8, something like that. And then talk about how it was going to be their year, but there was this. They'll remind you of the championships that they had 27 years ago. Very much.
All right, you know what? We're just going to categorize right now. You can add cities if you want. We're going to go New England. We're just New England, Dallas Cowboys, Warriors fans. I don't know.
Yankee fans.
Well, no, I was just saying the name is Yankee fans. Like they may be like New England fans, but we'll just call them Yankee fans because everyone knows what you mean when you mean Yankee fans because they are the most scumbag people on the planet Earth.
Yeah. Well, and the Raiders, I picked the Raiders for a very specific reason when I started talking about the Cowboys because, yes, they have a very similar way things shake out, but they too always have the hype around them in the beginning of the season, then end up talking about the championships they had 27 years ago when they had whatever. So I would throw them in there as well. Bringing back to the Cowboys, yes, they are very talented. They have a very good skill set and a good group of skilled players. Trayvon Diggs is the clear-cut defensive player of the year. He's having an absolute monster season.
I have something to say about that.
Sure. But it's not going to translate to 11 wins like they're all expecting it to.
I agree. I mean,
it's not.
Well, honestly, for Cowboys fan or for Zeke's sakes and for Dak's sake, those guys seem like good guys. And I'll always cheer for Zeke. He went to Ohio State. He basically broke Alabama. There's going to come a point where Zeke is going to fumble 3 times in a game. There's going to come a point where Dak probably gets dinged up pretty bad. It just happens every year. But yeah, I mean, I think they're good right now. But yeah, I mean, in no way am I on the Cowboys bandwagon where I'm like, yeehaw, we're going to the Super Bowl because they're not going to the Super Bowl. So, I don't want to take anything away from Trayvon Diggs. I don't. I think he's very good. 5 interceptions now? 6?
6 in 5 games. Yes,
which is crazy. He isn't even a top 20 corner in the NFL. This is people can criticize me for this all they want. Why is Jalen Ramsey so good? Because he shadows the best receivers every game, man to man. Why is Tre'Davious White good? Why is Jair Alexander good? They can shadow the best receivers. Trayvon Diggs in the Cowboys defense, it works for them, and it's working for them. So clearly it works. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from him. Trayvon Diggs is sitting in zone defense 99% of the time. So I played cornerback. So it's not experience wise, but I know schemes. I coach football. When you're in zone defense, it's a completely different game than when you're a guy like Jalen Ramsey or Jair Alexander or Marlon Humphrey, when you're sticking to the best receiver every game or just sticking to a receiver every game. The problem with playing zone defense is you're going to give up a lot of things like short and over the middle and things like that. But you're also going to force a lot of turnovers with zone defense. So that being said, I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think we need to put it in perspective. This isn't like a Stephon Gilmore season. This isn't like I don't think he's anywhere near as good as Richard Sherman was when he was with Seattle.
I'm not going to take away anything from him here as well. I agree. I'm not going to put him in the top 5 just yet because he's a second-year player he played 8 games last year.
So I take it back. I take it back. He's probably in the top 15. For whatever reason, I thought this was his 3rd year. And I was like, well, we've seen nothing from him in the past 2. So, okay.
Yeah,
I'll put him in the top 15.
Yeah, I would have him top 15, top 12, somewhere in there. Like, he's a very viable starting corner. But, like, you brought up Stephon Gilmore. The Patriots, for the most part, during that season where he had all the interceptions, was running a zone defense. So would you consider and classify Stephon Gilmore as a top 5 corner? I think
not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore. No. But
I think they're clear cut. Like in honestly, like this isn't a corner's fault. Like, because I do think when you start playing football at like the high school level and then the college level, and that like you grow up playing a certain scheme, and like you're either a better zone corner or you're a better man-to-man corner. Personally, I think man-to-man corners, and I think people would agree with this, those guys are the best ones. Those guys are the guys that shut people down. Darrelle Revis, when I think of a great cornerback, I go to Darrelle Revis. Like Darrelle Revis, like matching up with someone, being physical with them on the line of scrimmage, that is man-to-man defense. Those corners are physical, and I think those guys are the best. And like I said, I don't want to take anything away, but if you grow up and you go to once again, I don't want to take anything away from Iowa because they've done an incredible job this year. A lot of the reason they have so many their turnover differential is so good, they sit back in zone defense, which is basically what I look at zone defense as is bend but don't break. That's what zone defense is. It's bend but don't break. So, like I said, I don't want to take anything away from Trayvon Diggs because, obviously, once you get into the NFL, like it doesn't matter what corner you were before that. It's whatever system they play. Usually, I would think teams draft corners and different things like that from colleges of where they know what schemes they're in. But yeah, no, Trayvon Diggs is having an incredible season. I agree he's the leader for Defensive Player of the Year this year. However, he will not win it.
I can get behind that. It's obviously it's not sustainable to say he's going to have a pick and a half a game
let's take a pause real quick because we've said that about Iowa every week now, and they still force like 5 turnovers every game. It's crazy.
Yeah, I get that, but like for a single player, like it's not sustainable to say he's going to end up with 20 picks in 17 games. It's just not. No. And I understand that, but at the same time, like Richard Sherman only played on the left half of the field. You know what I mean? Like he only covered the left side. He didn't shadow anyone. He only played the one side of the field. And they didn't throw it towards him, but like it was only the left half of the field. You could put, your slot guy over there on him and he'd have to cover him. You know what I mean? So the cornerback position is very interesting and seeing how it has changed and how people have utilized it and everything. But that'll be the last thing I can say on that.
No, I mean, if you look at the Seahawks defense, the reason they were able to play zone was because Cam Chancellor was basically a 4th linebacker and covered everything in the flats, basically. And then you had Earl Thomas over top, who at his prime was, I think, far and away the best free safety in football. So yeah, we gotta get moving. We're way too slow. I do want to say though. I do want to say Trayvon Diggs, like I said, great leader for the Defensive Player of the Year right now. Myles Garrett's going to win this year. I'll say this: Myles Garrett will either win it this year or next year. I don't know how he hasn't gotten it yet, I do think it's because you've been injured, but all right. I guess this is a quick question I have for you. Overall, who do you think the best football player is in the NFL? I think there's a lot of different ways.
Yeah, that's way too deep of a question for how much time we've already used up.
I think it's easy.
You have to sit here and break it down. I really don't, because there's offense, defense, different skill sets which you got to focus on. And you're gonna say Myles Garrett because
I will say Myles Garrett, but I'm also gonna say Aaron Donald. I'm also gonna say, who else is a really, really good football player? DK Metcalf. I'm just saying.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of factors you got to do and go through it and everything, and that's how they come up with the NFL 100 list. So I don't know.
No, that's not what they do. They come up with the NFL 100 list just to get people talking for about a month about it. Because I can guarantee you, Tom, that when that NFL 100 list comes out, like in 6 months, we're going to talk about it for probably 2 weeks. So, yes, that's exactly how they put it out. Now on to my favorite NFL team, Arizona San Fran. Well, the over didn't hit in this one. I do have to say that the over did not hit in this one. I'll let you start. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll start with this. Max Williams. I just got a tweet update. He's probably got a severe season-ending injury, is how I think it was phrased. That which is a huge loss for that team because he was really starting to come into his own. Very unfortunate. I was on the phone yesterday while I was watching Kyler Murray post an absolute dud for my fantasy team. And I was on the phone with my buddy Sal. And I made this connection, and I don't think I'm ever going to unsee it. The Arizona Cardinals are just a more successful, better winning Vikings team. Because they always start off super hot, looking great, looking like contenders, and then the rest of the season, they play to their competition. Now, the Cardinals have actually won every single game so far this year. They're 5-0, which is fantastic. But think about the games after week 1 when they had that offensive explosion. They were in a dogfight with the Vikings, right? Then the week after that, I want to say it was, oh gosh, who was it week 3? The Jaguars, where it was not a super blowout game, I don't think. You correct me if I'm wrong.
It wasn't a super blowout. No, it wasn't a super blowout. I mean, they beat him by, I think, like 2 touchdowns, but it wasn't a super blowout. Yeah, you're right.
For the Jaguars, you would expect the Cardinals to have benched their players in the middle of the third quarter, and it was 2-touchdown game. Then they went and played the Rams, which is a super difficult game. They ended up squeaking them out. I'm not saying they should have blown them out, but another dogfight, and they played very well, played like the team from week 1. And then this week, they're playing a San Francisco team that's starting a rookie quarterback with not great playmakers and an injured running back core, and they only beat them by a touchdown in a 10-17 victory. I mean, they're literally just a more successful Vikings team.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and we'll get into the Vikings game because did you see that at the end of the game with Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I mean, I love the Cardinals. I think they're awesome. I think I love the Cardinals because they remind me of a college football team. I honestly think that. That's why. I mean, they run. I wouldn't say it's an air raid offense, but I mean it's a spread offense, which I mean I guess most teams run a version of the spread. But I mean clearly Arizona is not going to go undefeated. I don't think anyone thinks that, or I hope they don't think that. I mean, I guess it's not impossible, but I would highly doubt it, especially with the division that they're in. But they're exciting. I mean, Good for Arizona. Good for Arizona. I don't know. I don't know what else to say other than good for Arizona. How did Trey Lance yesterday look? Because I actually didn't watch this game because the Browns were playing.
He didn't look terrible, but he looked like a rookie. 15 for 29 for 192 yards, 1 interception, and then he had 16 carries for 89 yards. So, no touchdowns from him. An interception. Like I said, very mediocre, very, very rookie-like performance. But it wasn't bad. I mean, having 1 interception for a rookie, I would take that from Zach Wilson instead of 9.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you said he ran the ball 16 times.
He ran the ball 16 times. So I think we're starting to see what their plan is for not having a running back room.
I think Kyle Shanahan's a smart guy. So I'm hoping he doesn't do this more, but I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but this looks like another RG3 situation.
I don't want to go there just yet because it looks like Lance is just a bigger guy than RG3 was coming out of college.
He is. He's more compact. He's more of a compact guy, yeah.
Yeah, he might not be as tall, but he's got more muscle on him, and he looks just a little bit bigger. I think their arm talents are still left to be comparable because I didn't watch the game specifically at all. I didn't watch him throw, but I know he has an unorthodox throwing style, kind of like RG3 did. I'm sure his arm is maybe better, but I'm not going to compare him to RG3 yet until I legitimately sit down and watch a game.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, so we'll make that pact. We'll say we're not going to compare him to RG3 until we watch a game. But then everyone's got to know this. After we watch that game, all RG3 comparisons are fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think Kyle Shanahan's a smart guy. I don't think I would highly doubt I think running your quarterback 10 times is way too much. And by running your quarterback 10 times, I don't mean like scrambling like that. I think guys do that and like everyone does that. I mean like designed runs.
Yeah, I don't know how many were designed or how many where he felt too much pressure in the pocket or he had the rookie thing go off and he ran a scramble himself. I don't know how the breakdown is, but that you see our quarterback take 16 carries is just a little like whoa, and especially in his first NFL start.
Yeah. He's probably gonna be pretty damn sore today. I gotta think that. But yeah, all right. Next one. Talk about ugly games. Chicago, Vegas. Well, I'll say this. If you bet on Vegas this week, you're just an idiot. You're just an idiot. With all the things that came, I guess we could stop for a second. Do we want to talk about the email or anything? Because I really don't. I frankly don't. Okay, good. We're done. We're not going to that. But with everything going on, and then everyone knowing what the Raiders do, where they come out and win like 3 straight games, and then they end up like 7-10. They'll probably like what? They'll probably be like 8-9 or 7-10 this year. So this doesn't surprise me. However, I will say about the Bears, Matt Nagy is like. I'm glad that Fields is playing, but Matt Nagy is still probably the worst coach in the NFL. And that's saying a lot.
He needs to stop play calling, bro.
I don't. Well, apparently last year he removed himself from calling plays, and then this year he took it back over for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. I honestly kind of feel bad for Chicago fans because they got the win yesterday, and that just gives him more job security for not being fired. But there's not much I have on this game other than, everyone knew this was going to happen to Vegas. Like, if you didn't know this was going to happen, that's crazy because this happens every year with Vegas.
Yeah, I really don't know where I want to go with this first. Justin Fields, he threw 20 times, which is fantastic. 20 times is not a lot. I mean, you ran the ball, what is that, 30 – I want to say 38 times, 40 times almost, and he threw 20. Justin Fields threw for 111 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I mean, like, that's just – it's uninspiring.
Yeah.
No receiver had more than 35 yards. One guy had a 2-yard touchdown pass. Like, that's just – it's an uninspiring offense, and I think Nagy is coaching just to not lose instead of coaching to win. Yeah. Like, Laser – when he took over for the last 5 weeks of the season and he had David Montgomery playing as the RB5, like that was an electric offense. They were throwing the ball all over the field. They made Mitch Trubisky look good.
Whoa.
And
cool the Mitchell. Cool the Mitchell Trubisky hate. He's from Ohio.
But it's crazy to me that Nagy is so power hungry, I guess I want to say. Like, his defense is okay. It's not great, but he's an offensive guy. Remember, he was signed over from the Chiefs after that one big year, I guess I could call it. I don't even know if I could call it that. He was brought over from the Chiefs after their big offensive year, I guess, and now he's I guess trying to just hide the fact that it wasn't really him. It was Andy Reid. But Laser should be calling the plays on offense, and he should honestly start focusing on defense.
Yeah, he just has no business calling plays. He shouldn't be calling plays. Like I said, I feel bad for Bears fans because if anything, this win gives him more job security. But what are you going to do? All right. New Orleans, Washington football team. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about with this, but I think the overlying question needs to be here. Where's the Washington football team defense?
I have no idea.
It's so hyped coming in the year, and I mean, they just gave up 32 points to Jameis Winston yesterday. Do you have any what's going? Why is the defense not working? Is it bad play calling? Is it opponents? Is it guys not playing up to the level they're expected to? I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I'm not usually a believer in all these good, especially in the NFL and college football as well. These defenses can stop people, but I really thought the Washington football team defense coming into this year was going to be a premier unit, and probably I thought maybe he was going to be back to the boom, the Legion of Boom in Seattle, but and you almost got to say you feel bad for Taylor Heineke in the offense because they're actually not that bad. I mean, Taylor Heineke's pretty bad, but he's trying.
Taylor Heineke is not the worst.
Yeah, I just said I didn't say he's not bad, but I mean, he's trying and he does things. The defense is just it's been a complete failure this year. I don't understand why. It seems like they have all the pieces that should work, but I have no idea.
You know what? I think a lot of the Washington football team's success last year came from the fact that a bunch of the guys they had on the line were young. A guy like Montez Sweat got drafted the year before. I guess, in the 2019 draft. Young got drafted in 2020. Sweat did not play most of the season his rookie year. So you had these two absolutely insane athletic guys on your line that no one had tape on. And last year they looked fantastic because no one got their moves. No one did anything. I think we're starting to see NFL teams really showing off how much they watch film and how to stuff these guys. I think that's really the problem with the Washington team. The secondary is good, not great. The linebackers are good, not great. And the defensive line is fantastic. I think everyone on that defensive line is a super talented football player, but they just aren't getting the pass rush off. And the Washington football team defense, I think I said this to you at one point, it was going to remind me of those Jets teams that went to the AFC Championship games because they were only rushing 3 or 4 guys where their linebackers could drop into coverage and just cover the entire field. And they'd still get the pass rush off using only those 4 front rushers. That's just not the case. So they're going to have to. They've started sending linebackers to just try and get any sort of pass rush, and it's just leaving more holes on the field, and people are tearing them apart. So I really think that's what the issue is with them. Jameis Winston, I thought you were going to say the underlying question is whether or not Jameis Winston is actually good.
I don't know. I like Jameis. I think he's funny, and I think he's kind of crazy and weird. But like, they're using him in a weird way. It's like almost. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they're basically limiting his turnovers by basically just throwing like 10-yard routes every time. Like there's nothing really deep or we forgot Taysom Hill got hurt.
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
Hopefully he's not.
Yeah, I mean, he's
I don't know. Sean's $1 million man.
What are they going to do? I mean, they can't go on. They have to forfeit the season, or they have to forfeit the games that he can't play, and they have no chance to win.
Right. Yeah,
I'm serious.
I mean, you talked about limiting Jameis's turnovers. I think that's a really good way to put their offense because the Saints are the team. Like if the Jets and Giants aren't on, I'll put on the Chargers or the Saints. I found myself on Red Zone. I saw a lot of the Saints, and I put that on my second screen. I think that's a really good way to put it. I think Sean Payton is doing a really good job at limiting his turnovers and the opportunities he has to throw turnovers. I think it really helps that he has a solid run game in Alvin Kamara and a check down guy in Alvin Kamara, which he didn't really have in Tampa Bay, where he had to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. I think he's found a really good spot in a really good system for Jameis Winston. The 10-yard routes are great. He has the arm to push the ball downfield, which we saw with the long touchdowns to, I mean, I know there was the Hail Mary to Callaway, but the long ball to Deontay Harris where he was wide open, he has the arm talent to do all that. But this is the offense that Sean Payton likes to run. We've seen it. That's why we call Michael Thomas Slant Boy. It's the perfect situation for him.
Yeah, the only thing I think first of all, did you hear Jamal Adams' new nickname?
Blitz Boy?
Yeah, Blitz Boy.
Yeah, we've been calling him that since his third year on the Jets or second year on the Jets, something like that. I'll
finish up Tampa Bay. Then I have something else to say about him. Yeah, but the only thing I have an issue with is like limiting Jameis's turnovers means you don't get the good Jameis though too, because it's hard. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like he'll go out and throw 4 incredible touchdown passes, but then like in the second half, he'll throw like 3 interceptions. And so I get it, but it's just basically I'm just complaining as a fan that I would prefer that Sean Payton let Jameis rip it loose. So
I think we'll eventually get to the point where we do see that, but like Jameis is not playing the worst right now. I mean, he's completing 60% of his passes, which is very mediocre. He already has almost 900 passing yards on the season, 12 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. I mean, 12-3, that's a 4-1 ratio. That's not terrible, but yeah, you're right. I would like to see him wheel and deal like we used to, just without all the turnovers.
Yeah. Before we move on, Jamal Adams might be the worst player in NFL. Jamal Adams is terrible.
Yeah, he's a glorified linebacker. We've been saying it now for years.
And I don't know who tweeted about it, but it was like a quote from somebody that got tweeted like last week, I think. And he was like, basically, if you have if you have Jamal Adams on your team, you need to play defense a certain style. And that certain style, like, apparently just doesn't work because you basically have to play him as a linebacker, but a linebacker that isn't as big and can't like guard, like come down the hill and tackle like a linebacker. But you can't make him in the secondary because his defense in the secondary is literally, I mean, he doesn't play defense in the secondary. He has no idea. Like, Jets, you guys should be very happy you got rid of him. I downright don't think he's good at all.
Yeah, no, he's honestly he's great. The Jets used him well. His defending skills in the secondary have deteriorated since his rookie year and his sophomore year. He's only looking to hit somebody really hard instead of playing actual defense, and that'll be the only thing I say on it.
Good. Not much needs to be said about this one other than the GOAT, Tom Brady, 5 touchdowns.
His first did you know it was his first game with 400 passing yards and 5 touchdowns? Oh, he's 44. Did you know? I swear to God, I heard that stat line like across 12 different games that I watched. They literally brought it up every single time.
I didn't hear it once, so I thought we were Tom fans though.
I don't like it when they're like,
no, I know what you're saying. Like
we get it. He's 44 and still good. We get it.
Yeah. It's like you know what? We've switched sides now. Like you don't need to shove it down my throat anymore. Like we've switched sides.
Exactly.
So yeah, not much to say. I do have to give a shout out to Antonio Brown having a career renaissance.
I don't want to hear his name. I don't want to hear his name.
Okay.
I don't want to hear his name.
Good. Mike Evans. I love Mike Evans. I just love Mike Evans. And their defense is really good. Miami. I did see during the weather delay of Sunday night's game, which I had no idea that was going on. I just thought halftime was going on for like 45 minutes for whatever reason. They kept bringing on Florio from Pro Football Network or whatever, and apparently the Dolphins still think they can get Deshaun Watson, but I guess what the Houston Texans are asking for is crazy because I know the deadline's in like a week or less.
It's week 8, I thought.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I mean, but, yeah, it was odd. Florio just kept coming on the screen, and I was like, I thought we were half. But whatever. Unless you have anything else, I mean, Tom, 5 touchdowns. They're good. I mean, they're
the front runners.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that sucks about them is they're injured right now, too. Like, I think Winfield's out, Murphy Bunting's out, and I think Carlton Davis is out. So it's 3 of their 4 corners. Well, I mean, Richard Sherman is obviously a shell of himself, but of course he's their backup basically. So Richard Sherman's in there. But yeah, I mean, the 5 touchdowns. I mean, like I said, the thing that sucks with them is you literally just can't run the ball against them. Like I don't have a very good feeling if the Browns were to ever play the Bucs or something like that. I'd be like, well, if we can't run the ball, but then again, our offensive line might be the best in the NFL. But whatever. All right, moving on to. Oh, I didn't even see this score. Pittsburgh, Denver. Pittsburgh actually won a game.
Yeah,
Ben didn't throw any interceptions.
I have to say, he threw 2 balls that were deep that looked really good. He had the play in the first quarter, 50-yard touchdown to Deontay Johnson. He looked like the old Ben with that throw. I'm not going to lie. Like, it was a beautiful pass, way deep downfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben actually didn't look terrible.
Well, I mean, I think everyone kind of agrees that, yeah, Ben's able to just take his 3-step or 5-step drop and stand in the pocket. He has one of the better arms in the NFL, and that's clearly not really deteriorated like it did with Drew Brees. But I mean, yeah, he's always had a gun. But like I said, this is another thing. I just think they can't sustain winning just because their offensive line is so bad. I mean, so we'll see with that. I mean, we want to talk about a team that I think everyone knew was a fraud. I mean, the Broncos are the biggest frauds in the world.
I mean, yeah.
3-0, 3-0, just fall. I mean, they're terrible. So.
Yeah, well, I have to say, though, the only thing I will bring up about the Broncos, Teddy B obviously looks like Teddy B. He made 1 interception, which was not great, but 24 for 38, 288 with 2 touchdowns was great. We're starting to see Javonte Williams, I think, become the better back there. They only ran the ball 18 times total. Teddy Bridgewater scrambled once for 11 yards. But then it was a 8-9 split Williams to Gordon. But Williams on 1 less touch doubled Williams' yardage. So I I think we're going to start to see Gordon get phased out a little bit more and phased into the third down role.
I can see that. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I will say, I obviously don't like Big Ben, but it was almost like a Kobe Bryant situation for me, where no, not his death or anything like that. Like a Kobe Bryant situation where, like his last year in the NBA, Kobe. Like, let's be honest, Kobe was not a good basketball player. He just really wasn't. This is his last year in the league. And I think it's good that Ben is going to have a couple of games, which this year, where I think it's his last year, where people aren't going to just remember him because if he comes out and plays 17 bad games like this year, I mean, granted, he's already probably played 4, so he's got some work to do to make up for it. But like I mean, if he has a bad year, people will remember him more, or certain people will remember him more for that last losing season. And it would kind of suck to see like a great one at the end that's just like wilted, basically. So yeah, I guess it's kind of like the same thing as Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it's like Kobe dropping 60 in his last game.
Yeah, like last game, you know what, Browns, we already clinched a playoff spot. Steelers are 1-15. We're up by 37 points. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Steelers. Yeah, go ahead, Big Ben. Wouldn't that be the most ironic thing in the entire world is if the Browns ended up playing the Steelers in that first weekend, and that would end up being Ben Roethlisberger's last game. Is like the Browns finally got to Ben Roethlisberger, and he's gone now. They beat him. But yeah, it was I mean, like I said, there were a lot of good games yesterday, and we're obviously going to get to a lot of them. All right, well, we're getting to one right now. Detroit and Minnesota. This was heartbreaking. Yeah, it sucked. It did. It really sucked, especially because no one likes the Vikings.
Because they're frauds at 2 and 3. They are frauds.
Yeah. I mean, Dan, I guess you said it last night, so I'll let you start with it. Dan Campbell crying on the podium was a bit much.
Yeah, I like the message and I like the heart. The crying, you're right, was a little bit much. But like I genuinely like Dan Campbell.
I do too.
You know, he's a good coach. He cares about the players and like all that. You know, I'm gonna say movie stuff because you know what I mean. I want to put it out there right now as well. Detroit is America's team. Anytime Detroit gets into a close game like this, everyone is rooting for Detroit. They are America's team at 0-5. I don't care. Screw the Cowboys. Screw the Patriots. Screw anyone else you think is America's team. It is the Lions. They have lost heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak this season. It's so unfortunate, and I'm rooting for the Lions next week. Who do they have? They have the Bengals. They have the Bengals. It's a winnable game.
All right. Well, with that, I mean, oh yeah, and the other cringy thing about that game was Kirk Cousins, and I don't know if that was Zimmer or not, whoever it was, and their little joking around thing after the guy made the field goal. Kirk Cousins he's just a weird dude. Whatever. I don't like him. Whatever.
I hate Kirk Cousins.
All right. Well, you did mention the Bengals, so let's just hop to that one.
Another kicking.
Bengals versus Green Bay. Bengals hosting Green Bay. 25-22 overtime, and both of these kickers are very, very bad.
Yeah, I think Mason Crosby saved his job with that game winner.
Yes.
If he had missed that one and he missed 5 or 6 kicks in a row, I in all honesty, I'm surprised that the Packers didn't try and move the ball up 10 more yards further than they did, just as an insurance thing. Because you have Aaron Rodgers, like that game was so crazy. That Bengals kicker McPherson celebrating when it clearly missed.
Oh, I didn't see that. I gotta look at that then after this.
It was very close. Like the upright was here, and the flag was going out here. Like it literally hit the flag and the flag kicked it up. Like he thought he squeaked it over like this, like over the top. Like it would very clearly hit the flag and shot it up to like a 180-degree angle. Like you could clearly see you missed it. And he was like celebrating and everything. And I get it. It was like from 53 out. So it's not like it was a chip shot and you could see exactly where it went. But like, yikes, dude. Celebrating and then seeing that you missed. Like the utter look of horror on his face was hilarious. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Cincinnati.
The Packers are not legit either.
I was going to say that, yeah. I mean, well, speaking of Packers, the Packers fans might be some of the worst on Twitter as well. They are unbelievably annoying. And of course I follow like 12 of them because of Fleury. So it's just like you live in Wisconsin. Like I know Ohio's not that much better, but it's still better. Like no one cares about you in Wisconsin.
Right. So Justin, I think we can just summarize this whole, Packers fans suck and the Packers are not legit thing in one question. Are you more impressed with the Packers 4-1 start or the Bengals 3-2 start?
Bengals 3-2.
That should answer it right there. I am not enthused at all for the Packers starting at 4-1.
No, I agree. I looking back, I'm trying to think who they've played.
I just went and looked. They got rocked by the Saints week 1. Then they beat the Lions. Then they barely squeaked out a win versus the 49ers, 30-28. Beat the Steelers 27-17, and then this another squeaker win versus the Bengals.
Yeah, no, this is definitely not. I would say this. It doesn't necessarily show on the field, but I think the offseason turmoil and things, it didn't help. It really didn't help. It's never going to help things like that. Like you don't really see it much because they are professionals, so I give them credit for that. But I think it did break up the locker room a bit. Like I think Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur like kind of get along and they know each other and they like each other. I feel like Matt LaFleur probably took like Rodgers' side on all this stuff and was like, yeah, I need this guy. If I was a coach, I would have said, like, yeah, like unless you want to lose 15 games next year, like, yeah, you better get him into camp. So,
100%.
But yeah, no, definitely the Bengals 3-2 start. I don't think anyone saw it coming, and I don't think anyone saw it coming. I do think part of it was because everyone with all the Jamar Chase drops, everyone was like, okay, oh, that was just a horrible pick. So you didn't even like look who else they picked or anything like that. But I mean, yeah, I mean, Jamar Chase has been incredible for that offense. If they can get a healthy Joe Mixon, like a fully healthy Joe Mixon, I mean,
they're going to be deadly.
Yeah, I mean, and with T. Higgins out there, and then no, it's not Ayuk, but
Boyd
yeah, whoever.
and
yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So I mean, yeah, they have they're good, they're good. But well, yeah, I mean, Green Bay just doesn't. I mean, it just doesn't impress you. This can be quick as well. I don't think there's anything to talk about. Tennessee, Jacksonville. I didn't go back. Sorry, I missed one. But yeah, Tennessee, Jacksonville. I think it's. I guess the only thing I really want to say is I still feel bad for Trevor Lawrence at this point. I'm going to stop feeling bad because at this point, like he needs to probably like maybe bench himself and be like, Coach, I got a concussion, bro. Like I'm not going out there. Yeah, I'm not like if I was Trevor Lawrence, I'd be like, dude, I'm 19 years old. Those are like 314-pound men just charging at me, ready to kill me. This isn't like college where I got to sit in the pocket for 7 seconds before I threw to a wide open receiver. But yeah, and then the other thing I'll say is at this point, I don't know how the owners of the Jaguars, can justify keeping Urban Meyer after this. I would think they would probably wait till their bye is as long as it's not too late, but you can't justify keeping Urban Meyer around anymore. You can't justify it because nothing he has done since he has gotten there has helped the team. Tebow, I mean, that was stupid. It was just stupid. And then everything this month. So yeah,
So I kind of have a question, and it's not necessarily uber important, but say Jacksonville sticks on the trajectory that they're going. I think with strength of schedule, they will yet again end up with the number one pick if them and the Lions both go 0-17. I think strength of schedule says they get the one pick again, which I have a whole issue with that, and we already know why. But
yes,
if you end up with the number one pick, do you go with Thibodeau to help the defense, or do you need to go with something to help Trevor Lawrence?
No, I don't think he needs. No. Well, first of all, I'm assuming that if you go 0-17 or you go 1-16, there's no way Urban Meyer's. That means Urban Meyer's gone. You cannot justify keeping a guy that went 0-16 and 1-15 or something like that.
I mean,
yeah. What else was part of the question? Sorry, you know how I am. What else did you ask?
I said if they end up with the one pick, do you take Thibodeau to improve the defense, or do you try and get a weapon or someone to at least help the offense and Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, I thought you were going to say a different quarterback. Okay, yeah, okay.
No.
I think if you're going one, you have to go best player available. I mean, if you don't need a quarterback, you have to go best player available, unless you have a huge need at a different position. Evan Neal from Alabama, like a left tackle.
That's what I was going to bring up. Do you bring in him to protect Lawrence? Yeah.
I mean, yes. I guess that would be my first priority. That would be my first priority. You got to build from the tackles in on a throwing team, kind of like that. So, but yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Evan Neal went number one. Personally, I would probably take right now number one. I'll have to see how Stingley works out, but I mean, I would take Thibodeau or Stingley Jr. as long as his medicals come back clean. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's a really fair question because I think Thibodeau would be a great piece, but it's not like the Jacksonville defense is great. And I think on the right team he could be fantastic, but it's not going to be the Jaguars. So they have to ask themselves, what would I get more out of? Taking Neal, who's not the best player available, but will protect my franchise quarterback, or Thibodeau to start building up my defense? I think that Jacksonville is in a very tough spot because they have to work on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, they just need improvement everywhere, except for kick returner. I think Agnew's got that down.
Yeah, I would say.
All right, on to we'll go to New England, Houston. Again, we got to kind of pick it up. We're running way super long. Still hate New England. Houston covered. I think they would. Not a lot for me. Not an impressive win. Not like an unimpressive win. Just kind of.
I mean, they came back from down 22 to 9.
I know. I was so pumped when because the Browns. I was watching the Browns, or I don't know, play video games. I don't know, something like that. But I saw them down because I took Texans plus 8.5. Right. Oh, by the way, I think on my parlay, I don't think any of them hit. Oh no, one did. The Packers hit. The over in San Fran and Arizona was so close to 50. It was so close. No, it was 27.
Davis Mills, though, he looked legit. I will say that. The Tyrod Taylor effect is still in play. Davis Mills looked legit.
All right. I'll take your word for it, but I got to watch him play this week because we'll see.
I can just his stat line. He was 21 for 29 for 312, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That's the best performance we've seen from a rookie versus Belichick. All I'll say.
Yeah, that's true. New England, just go screw yourselves. No one likes you. We always say, New England. I fucking hate you. This one was a bit of a stunner to me. Philly beating the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a total implosion. Jesus.
Yeah, I will say the only good thing that happened for the Panthers yesterday was that they didn't bring back Christian McCaffrey for last game. Because you probably would have gotten hurt again.
I think if we learned one thing from the Panthers this week, it's that they will not be making the playoffs unless McCaffrey comes back healthy. So holding him out of the game and giving him an extra week off was fine, because I know I think, where is he? Yeah, Hubbard actually had a really good day. He had 101 on the ground and another 33 in the air. So you know what? Like, I would even say maybe give him another week off just to make sure he's like 100%.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. It's come a time where, and I think this is kind of partly Saquon Barkley as well, where it's going to come a time where this injury, a doctor's going to say to you, like, if you guys make the playoffs, you might be able to come back or something like that. You might be able to go play. But yeah, I think players will end up just shutting it down. So yeah. But yeah, I mean,
ugly.
First of all, maybe you know the answer to this. How many rushing touchdowns did Sam Darnold have in the Jets? Because he has like 5 for the not the Bengals. You know what I mean?
Panthers. Yeah, I have no idea. He looks like the biggest dual threat quarterback we've ever seen. He leads the league in rushing touchdowns, which is great. Thank you, Adam Gase, for never letting anyone know about that ability ever. Yeah, no, he looks legit. I mean,
I agree. I 100% agree. Yeah, I agree. I'm in on them. Okay. I guess we'll let you start first.
Yeah.
Other than the Monday night game, we're done. We're through, and then R2. Yeah,
I mean, I was talking about it on the show yesterday because I obviously got to watch 9:30 football. The Jets are just, I don't know what it is. They're a one-half team. They play a good game for one half of football. They put up three points in the first half to the Falcons 20, but then put up 20, or I guess not 20, 17 points of their own to the Falcons 7. I mean, this team honestly could be not terrible.
No,
they just need to figure out how to play football for 4 quarters.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like what I've seen from Zach Wilson, especially since his 4 interception game. He looks a lot more poised and, confident, I would say. He's still not a perfect quarterback, but I look at rookie quarterbacks like this. Like, I think they should always start coming out, unless you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady in front of you. So I would just put it in the air, see what happens. I don't know, but
yeah, Michael Carter looked amazing too. I guess I shouldn't say amazing because he only had 10 rushes for 38 yards and a touchdown. But he also had another 3 catches for 20 yards. So I think he is going to start taking over as the lead back. I mean, we saw him get 10 rushes to everyone else's 4 and 3 between Ty Johnson and Tevin Coleman. So he outtouched everyone else 10-7. So I just think the Jets offense is not in the position to be working a running back and a quarterback at the same time. And by working, I mean like working with the rookies. But I think that they have a nice young core going forward. They just need to learn how to play 4 quarters of football is really all I can say about it.
All right. Yeah, like I said, I not a ton here. Thanks, Kyle Pitts, for finally letting us know that you played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll come on, maybe he won't, but I was sick. He sucked. All right, the Browns. I never saw this one coming. I did not think it'd be a shootout. This just keeps happening to the Browns. They've given up like every fourth quarter when they get I texted you. I said they're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose, and they did. A lot of it. Kevin Stefanski, by far, like I said earlier, had by far his worst day as a head coach yesterday. On that 3rd and 10 with like 2 minutes left, running a handoff and running the ball, it was like, what are you doing? So Kevin Stefanski definitely gets some of the blame. I will say this. Baker deserves none of the blame for this loss at all. No picks, had pretty damn good stat line. The defense, in my opinion, takes the loss for this because the offense still looked really good.
How about David Njoku ripping off 7 catches for 150 and a touchdown?
I know, and of course I had him written down on my stupid paper, and I was like, let's go with Harrison Bryant instead. Yeah, I mean,
Njoku finally having a game like worth talking about because you and I have talked about him extensively on the show and how he should be traded into a better team, or not better team, a team that will utilize him better, I should say.
Yeah. But I mean, the Browns, the defense they looked terrible. They were slow. It was just not a good day overall for me. Herbert, I want to say Herbert looked incredible, but he just had to play like an average quarterback yesterday, and it was fine by far. Like, there was no chance they were going to lose. But yet he gets 2 touchdown passes from and I don't fool me once, shame on me. I get that. Fool me twice, shame on you, because those 2 bombs to Michael.
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. 2 touchdown bombs for more than 50 yards. Like, that's part of the reason why he lost too. And like I said, running it on 3rd down with like a minute to left. Yeah, it just didn't make a lot of sense. Did not make a lot of sense. But we bounce back. I'll probably lose again next week, and then I'll just go in the dark place again. Just go in the dark place.
Who do you have next week?
I have no idea. Oh, I do know. Oh yeah, I do know.
Oh, yeah, it's Arizona.
Oh, yeah, it's at home, though. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I got to keep you updated. Remind me to say something to you about that after this.
I think I have an idea.
So unless you got anything, I guess we'll kind of end the week with this. We can do this. Most impressive team, most disappointing team, player of the week, offense and defense.
Okay. I will let you start off with most impressive.
Most impressive. Oh, I think this one's easy. Bills. Bills over Chiefs.
That's where Chiefs. I would go.
Yep. I think I got it. And then
if I had to pick a different team, though, it would be the Bucks, just because they're asserting their dominance yet again.
Yeah. Least impressive team, I would say the Packers. They won, but wasn't easy for them.
I thought you said, is it least impressive or most disappointing?
Most disappointing.
Okay. If it's most disappointing, then I'm going to go with the Cardinals, man. I mean, I know they're 5-0, but geez, man, that was so uninspiring to watch.
They can't. Yeah. No. Well, okay. They've had one bad game, Tom. They have one bad game. You know what?
No.
They have one bad.
They're the Vikings to me now, and I'm never going to unsee it.
That's your own fault. That's your own fault because their quarterback's black. So I don't know. Most impressive or offensive player of the week. I mean, I think this one's easy too. I think you got to go Josh Allen.
Josh Allen or Tom Brady again. One of the two.
Yeah. And worst player. There's so many ways you could go with this. I don't know. We're not gonna do worst player. We're not gonna do worst player. Instead, I'm gonna get every week. Every Monday I'll put in a video of a player like Shaq'd in a fool or something but we'll do our own little thing where some guy's being an idiot.
Well, how about best defensive player? You did best offensive. Let's do best defensive and get out of here.
I mean, I don't think you can go outside of Trayvon Diggs.
I think you can. I think there's only one person that you could say is better, and that was Derwin James. Man, I mean, he had 15 tackles or something like that.
Derwin James, yes, he had a good game. He had a very good game. He also should have been flagged about 3 more times for face masks.
Probably, I agree with that. I'm not going to deny that.
I agree, and I'm happy. I think Derwin James, this is I think people when Jamal Adams came out, people were like, Derwin James is a poor version of Jamal Adams. I think that's flipped on its head now. I think Jamal Adams is a poor version of Derwin James because Derwin James, and I'll give credit to the Chargers here as well. They found how to use him. They're either going to have him up in the box in blitzing, which is smart, or they're going to drop him in coverage. There's no in between. I think he rarely plays man coverage unless it's like a running back out in the flat or a tight end. But I think I mean, strong safeties, I would say, in the NFL. I think Derwin James is up there with the best. I think Budda Baker's up there, and then Matthew hasn't looked good this year, but Matthew's usually up there. But yeah, no, Derwin James was very good. I like Derwin James a lot.
Yep. All right.
Well, that's going to do it for our wrap up. Once again, we will try to be faster next week. You know what, guys? Everyone needs to hope for a Browns win and like no more. And you know what? Manchester United plays on Saturday next weekend, so we'll have no Manchester United hangover. So I should be in a good mood. But just pray for a Browns win. Actually, no, don't pray for a Browns win. It doesn't matter because they're playing the Cardinals, and I'll be probably happy with either result. While I say that, I also know in my head that I'm going to be disappointed with both results, no matter what happens. If the Cardinals lose, I'm going to be like, damn it, there goes Kyler's MVP. And if the Browns lose, I say, damn it, there goes their playoffs hopes, even though it's still, 6 games into the season, but whatever. It was, I think since we've been doing it this year, this was the craziest all-around week of football we had.
Yeah, very, very, very weird week.
And I will say, I think it's going to get even weirder in college football, and I think it's going to get a lot more interesting in the NFL too. So as much as I was mad yesterday and everything like that, I think we're in for a good couple of I think we're good for the next 2 months. I think we're going to be fine on the weekend. So, like I said, thanks everyone for watching in. This will be up on Spotify probably by the end of the day, if not by the end of the day to tomorrow. I don't know how fast their just Anchor's distribution goes out, but definitely check that out there. Spotify, I believe it sends to Apple Music, Google Music, and then basically wherever you get podcasts, you can go ahead and download that. Give us a like. If you want. I don't care about your likes. I really don't care if you download. I do want you to listen though, because I do know who does listen, and that's just nice. Other than that, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how we top this weekend in football, but hopefully we can next weekend. Any last words, Tom? Oh yeah, prediction for tonight.
Start. Yeah, I think the Ravens are probably going to end up winning, but I need 30 out of Jonathan Taylor, so let's go Colts.
See, I need points out of Jonathan Taylor too. I'm up by 22 versus Luke, but he has Lamar Jackson going, but I have John Taylor. What's his name? Yeah, JT. I have JT going as well, so I think I'm pretty safe there. And like I said, everyone, I know you're very interested in this. I will update everyone on Friday with our pick'em. I'll also update records on Friday. I might cheat a little bit, but we'll see about that. But yeah, any last words, Tom?
Let's go Dogs, man.
All right.
You didn't even notice or to ask me anything about my flag. It's not here.